Game on, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Box Score Radio, brought to you by the Keaton Podcasting Network. It is Tuesday, February 26th, 2019. I am your host, Jay Keaton, and today's Box Score Radio, we're going to start with NCAA men's basketball scores from yesterday. 2 games in the top 25. Number one game. Number 18, Florida State defeats Notre Dame 68-61. Player of the game for Florida State, Devin Vassell, 13 points, 7 rebounds. For Notre Dame, Prentice Hubb, 17.7 rebounds. Rebounding was the difference in the game. Otherwise, it was pretty close. Florida State out-rebounded Notre Dame 40-26. This game was pretty much how I thought it would be. I thought Notre Dame would be able to come out there, show some dominance, play very hard, fight like they should. But in the end, talent prevailed, and Florida State has more talent. Notre Dame this year is in the bottom half in talent in the ACC. Below 500, they're now 13-15 on the season. As a Notre Dame fan, it is hard to watch. And I was thinking today, this is typical Notre Dame. And when they're really good in basketball, they suck in football. When they're really good in football, they suck in basketball. It's just how it is. It's never a win-win situation with them. So pretty much the season is over. I don't think they will pull an upset on any top 25 team for the rest of the season. And I don't think they finish with 15 wins. I mean, no more than 15 wins. And pretty much, that's all she wrote. Mike Brey, he's a good coach. He'll have this team back next year better than ever. But as far as this season goes, it's just been a huge disappointment. Number 15, Kansas defeats number 16, Kansas State, 64-49. Player of the game for Kansas, Dedrick Lawson. He had 18 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists. For Kansas State, Kamua Stokes, 12 points, 4 rebounds. Free throws were the difference here. Kansas was 14 of 19. Kansas State was perfect, but they only shot 5 of them. Kansas State had 10 more fouls on the game, which is pretty much what the difference was. Other than that, statistically, the game was pretty close. And this was a big win for Kansas as a team that's a top 5 recruiting team every single year. Right now, they are 3rd in the Big 12, 2 games behind Texas Tech and Kansas State. Anything other than a Big 12 championship for Kansas is a disappointment. If you're Bill Self in Kansas, you got to be a little bit better than this. You can't just be average. You can't be above average. You have to be great. With the recruits they get, there's no excuse for them not to be great. So this is a big win for them. It was a must-needed win for them. They fall to this game and they fall 2 games behind in the Big 12. Even though, and then that would have been their 8th loss of the season. That Bill Self's hot seat's going to get hotter if that's the case. All right, so that does it for college basketball, men's side. Let's move on to the NBA action from yesterday. The Warriors over the Hornets, 121-110. DeMarcus Cousins had 24 points, 11 rebounds. Hornets top player, Cody Zeller, he had 28 points, 9 rebounds. 3-point shooting was the difference here. The Warriors shot 14 of 41. The Hornets shot 7 of 33. That's not a high percentage if you want to get it done against the best team in the NBA. Trailblazers defeat the Cavaliers 123-110. CJ McCollum, he put in some work, 35 points, 7 rebounds. For the Trailblazers, the Cavaliers' top man, C.D. Osman, 27 points, 7 rebounds. Difference here is the shooting percentage from the field and 3-point percentage. The Trailblazers shot 56% from the field compared to the Cavs' 41%. And like I always said, you shoot over 50%, you're going to win 99 from downtown. You're going to win 99 times out of 100. The Trailblazers were 62% from the three-point land. So it's always the number one key stat for victory is three-point percentage. Pistons defeat the Pacers 113-109. Player of the game, Andre Drummond. For the Pistons, he had 26 points, 16 rebounds. For the Pacers, Domantas Sabonis, 23 points, 7 rebounds off the bench. Three-pointers were huge for Detroit. They were 18 of 41. The Pacers were 10 of 26. Those few extra downtown shots were the difference. Everything else was pretty close. The Nets over the Spurs, 101-85. The Spurs are slowly crumbling before our eyes. The team that we thought was the most consistent team, one of the best dynasties in basketball, is slowly starting to dwindle. And it doesn't surprise me at all. D'Angelo Russell had 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists for Brooklyn. LaMarcus Aldridge did put in work for the Spurs. He had 26 points, 10 rebounds. 3-point shooting was the difference here. The Nets were 19 of 50 from downtown. The Spurs, only 4 3-pointers in the game. Not going to get it done. The Suns defeat the Heat 124-121. Kelly Oubre, 16 points, 8 rebounds. And I do say Oubre and not Oubre Jr., which he is listed at, because unless you're a famous unless you have a famous father who did a lot in professional sports, you don't have to put the fucking junior on there. I'm getting sick and tired of guys putting junior at the end of their name when nobody knows who their father was just because they're named after their father. Just go by your first and last name and leave it at that. You don't have to put junior. It doesn't enhance anything. It doesn't make you a better player. Just stick to the basics, all right? But he had 16 points, 8 rebounds. For the Heat, top player Hassan Whiteside, 29 points, 11 rebounds. The Suns get their 12th win of the season. They are still the last place team in the NBA. They're 12-50 on the season. The Knicks are 12-48. So by virtue of more losses, the Suns are officially the worst team in the NBA, which means for the Heat and Eric Spoelstra, you just lost to the worst team in the NBA at home. How does it feel? The Bucks over the Bulls, 117-106. Chris Middleton led the way for Milwaukee, 22 points, 4 rebounds. Lauri McCannon for the Bulls. Never heard of him, but you do now. 26 points, 12 rebounds. 3-point shooting was key for the Bucks. They were 17-49. The Bulls were 9 of 26. Rockets over the Hawks, 119-111. James Harden's streak of 30-plus points in a game is officially over. He had 28 points in this one, along with 5 rebounds. I believe it was 32 straight games of 30-plus points, which is like second or third overall all time. I mean, it was a hell of a streak, but all good things come to an end eventually. For the Hawks, my man Trae Young, 36 points, 8 assists. I'm telling you, the Hawks team are going to be good next year. They will be in the playoffs, mark my words. Mark my words, excuse me. Trae Young, he's just looking better and better every single game. He's getting better. He's the one player that I've noticed is better and better every single game this season. So look out for him. He's going to be a stud. Rebounding was really the difference here. Both teams shot the ball well, but the Rockets out-rebounded the Hawks 55-48 was pretty much the key stat. Everything else virtually identical. The Grizzlies over the Lakers, 110-105. For Memphis, Jonas Valanciunas, 20 points, 13 rebounds. He was the top player. For the Lakers, Brandon Ingram, 32 points, 6 rebounds. Rebounds, again, key stat here, 62-48 advantage Memphis, which is pretty much the only reason they won this game. Lakers were statistically better pretty much in field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, but Grizzlies, a little bit more, those are your effort points that you're seeing from rebounding, and Memphis was just a little bit better. Timberwolves defeat the Kings 112-105. Player of the night in all the NBA, Karl Anthony Towns, 34 points, 21 rebounds. That's all-star status right there. For the Kings, Marvin Bagley, he had himself a good night. 25 points, 11 rebounds. Field goal percentage was key here. The Timberwolves shot 50% from the field. The Kings only shot 38%. 76ers squeak by the Pelicans, 111-110. Philadelphia's lead player, Tobias Harris, 29 points, 10 rebounds. For the Pelicans, Julius Randle, 19 points, 14 rebounds. For the Pelicans, go ahead and just sit Anthony Davis. I think he was 18, 6, and 4 on the night. You know, this is a top 5 player, at least top 10 player in the NBA, and he's getting you 18, 6, and 4. Unacceptable. That's good for a bench player, not an all-star like Anthony Davis. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to play. They only played him for 21 minutes, which is less than any other starter, and he's a top 5 player in the league. What does that tell you? Just sit him. Don't let him play. You know, it's just ridiculous. He's essentially a burden out there. They're below 500 this year, are the Pelicans. You know, this was a team 2 years ago. People were talking about them beating Golden State and winning the West. Now look at them. They're essentially a season away from they're rebuilding pretty much now, but next year they're going to start the rebuilding process all over again. So it just shows you how quickly in the NBA things can turn around. The Clippers defeat the Mavericks 121-112. Montrezl Harrell led the way for the Clippers, 32 points, 5 rebounds. And for the Mavericks, this guy's a stud. Luka Doncic, just a flat-out baller, 19 years old, playing like he's been in the league for 10 years. He had 28 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. That, if my math serves me correct, that equivalates to a triple-double. Mavericks were, shot the ball pretty damn well this game, but difference was they turned the ball over. They turned the ball over 17 times compared to the Clippers 6, which was inevitably the difference in the game. So that wraps up the NBA from yesterday. Women's college basketball scores. 5 games to get to, 2 games to talk about. Number 1 Baylor defeats number 18 Texas 64-35. How do you only score 35 points? Well, you only shoot 20% from the field, which is what Texas did. Inevitably is why they got their ass kicked and only scored 35 points. Number 4 Notre Dame over number 17 Syracuse, 98-68. I keep underestimating the Lady Irish, and I don't know why I'm doing it. But they're peaking at the right time. They're going to be dangerous come tournament time. They shot 56% from the field and 83% from the free throw line, which was a little bit better than Syracuse's 38% to 40%. So, great win for the Lady Irish. Since the men's team ain't getting it done, I'll go ahead and root for the women's team. Also, number 8 Maryland defeats Purdue 58-55. Number 12 Iowa over Nebraska 74-58. And number 19 Texas A&M defeats Florida 80-62. And that does it for women's basketball. All right, let's head on over to the ice and run through the NHL games. Like I've said before on Box Score Radio, I don't really talk about NHL stats because the stats can be so misleading when it comes to hockey. You could have a team shoot 50 shots on goal and the other team shoots 5, and the team who shoots 5 ends up winning because they end up scoring off of them. So for NHL, you just simply go with the scores. The Maple Leafs defeat the Sabres 5-3. The Devils over the Canadiens 2-1. Lightning in a shootout defeat the Kings 4-3. The Predators also in a shootout. They defeat the Oilers 3-2. Overtime win for the Panthers. They defeat the Avalanche 4-3. And finally, the Canucks blank the Ducks 4-0. All right, and that does it for all scores from yesterday. What's going on tonight? Well, games to watch in the NHL. You got the Penguins taking on the Blue Jackets. and I'll take the Blue Jackets at home. Predators take on the Blues. I will take the Blues at home. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. I'm going to take the Predators on the road. NCAA men's action. You got number 3 Duke taking on number 20 Virginia Tech. I was thinking about this game all day. I so badly want to take Virginia Tech, but I just can't. I can't pull the trigger on them. I think Duke's going to be, I think RJ Barrett's going to light it up. And I think Duke actually wins this game handedly. My prediction, 85, 68. I think Duke's going to get it done tonight. I think they're going to flex their muscles and show that they can do without Zion Williamson, at least against a team like Virginia Tech, who's not really that great. And finally, NBA action, 2 good ones. We got the Celtics taking on the Raptors and the Thunder taking on the Nuggets. Give me Toronto at home and give me OKC on the road. I like OKC to win this one in a close one. All right, and that does it for Box Score Radio today. Remember, you can follow the show on Twitter at Box Score Radio, and I will be uploading podcast 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, for your entertainment. So, for Box Score Radio, I'm your host, Jay Keaton. Thanks for listening, and I will